going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for a little Friday night live stream. I want to try to get back in the habit of doing live streams more on the regular. Been way out of the loop with them for quite a while now. And what do we got today? Just a little chit chat, nothing specific, kind of whatever we want to chat about. And then I also have I ordered this about a week ago. It came in. I've been sitting on it for a couple days because I wanted to rip it live. We got a box of X-Force comic images that we are going to rip in a little bit. Why am I ripping a box of X-Force comic images, you might ask? That is because CGC is having a Rob Liefeld signing event. Like they did with Todd McFarlane. For those that don't remember that, you could send Rob's cards in. They will witness them, slab them, grade them. They're going to get a little custom label on it. So Rob is doing something very similar to what Todd did. And I do have a couple cards laying around I could send in as candidates for it. A couple good ones that are relatively common. If you ripped a bunch of X-Men Metal, the Deadpool High series is an amazing card to send in for this. So this is definitely going. I also have a Cable card. I'm on the fence on this one. I would actually like to replace this one with something different. And then this one will definitely be going the classic Deadpool, air quotes, rookie card. But the comic images stuff, there are some really great looking Deadpool cards in there along with some other key characters. I picked this up for, what did I get this for? Like $120, I think. So not that expensive. I'll get a billion cards out of here. These comic images sets, there's a billion packs in here. You get 10 cards per pack. You get a ton of duplicates. So for something like this, it's perfect. And the quality control on this stuff is terrible. So you need a lot of shots at the ones that you want to get. So we will be ripping that some point here very shortly. I also got a pickup in, had a little bit of mail package today. I posted it on IG. I'll show that off in just a little bit. But excited to add a new piece to the Star Wars Stellar signature line that I got rolling here. I had thought about Card Collector 2's doing a trade night tonight. And I had considered going to it all week. This was one of my busiest weeks of work in a year. This particular week is always extremely busy at work. And I was in the car for 7 hours today, driving around to different accounts for, it was 6 hours and 45 minutes of drive time today in the car. So I had a very long day today, and I passed on going to the CC2 trade night because it would have been another 2 hours in the car. And I was just looking on IG, and it is pouring there. They had a little band of storms go through, and Ryan posted a video, and it is just a torrential downpour. Plus, I have the Hartville Card Show tomorrow morning, so I'll be heading out to that. So I'll be able to get my card show, my card fix in this weekend with the Hartville show tomorrow. The tent expansion is back. So that's good. We also have the Shipshawana show coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'm still on the fence on that one. I'm leaning towards going versus not going since that moved to Sundays. And then we have, as I mentioned in the video today, if you got a chance to watch it, I'm locked into Heroes Con in June. That is down in Charlotte. I will be attending that show. And then the National, obviously, in July. And then beyond that, I am not sure. The wife and I are debating if we want to do New York City Comic Con again. It's more me because she would go in a heartbeat. She loves New York City. So that is kind of a state of current events. I see my Cleveland Browns just traded for Zadarius Smith from the Vikings for a couple fifth-round picks. So that's intriguing. I believe he's a pretty good pass rusher, and they could definitely use the help on that one. So let's see what's going on in old chat. If anyone has, like I said, I have no real specific topics to discuss tonight. So if anyone has anything spicy they want to toss out there, feel free. We'll just go ahead and chit chat, and then I'm gonna dig into this box of X Force. And just kind of, if you guys have questions or whatever, you can feel free to throw them into the chat, because this is probably going to take a hot minute to rip, because there are a million cards in one of these boxes. That's assuming, last time I tried to rip a box of 90s Marvel cards live, it turned out to be Dungeons and Dragons cards. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of that. Though this time I am ripping it right after getting it. So I will be able to open a case with eBay. Box is in decent shape. It's a little pushed in on that side. A little flattened down a little bit there, but to be expected when you're talking about a box from, I believe, 1991. Yeah, 91. This box comes from. I do not collect original art, Trevor. Way too expensive. Way too expensive. I always look at it when I go to Comic Cons. There was some really cool original art at Heroes Con last year when I went, and at New York City Comic Con last year. So, this is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is a good time for the Australian folks. The Hartville show is primarily sports cards. Yes. How much do you think the stagnation in prices is largely due to people like yourself doing a mix of buying and selling, and predominantly buying, like in 2021? I mean, it could be a little bit of that. I think it's mostly just people kind of what I talked about today, like refocusing themselves on what's sitting around in their collection, faith in the ultra modern market long term, with the print runs escalating and quality control going down, and just all the normal stuff. But I think it has more to do with that than people doing people were always doing a mix of buying and selling, so that's nothing new. Any news / updates on the Beckett grading scale? No. I mean, I know that they sent out some surveys and some other things, but there has not been anything formal announced yet. I would expect we would get something soon, just because if you look at their gem rate numbers, they continue to trend in a not great direction, because there's really, I don't know why you would send something to them right now with the questions of what the grading scale could be. So it has to be drastically affecting their current day business. Maybe that'll give them a chance to get a little caught up on things. And kind of clear up the backlog, and then they could get rolling with whatever they roll out with. I will be curious to see what they do. This is an extremely important decision for them not to mess this up. So we will see what happens. I've made multiple videos on my opinion on what I think that they should do. We will see which way they decide to go. I did see the new Guardians. Yes. Wife and I went and saw it last Saturday. I thought it was really good. Very good movie. Very good movie. I generally like most Marvel movies. I don't like freak out about, people are all like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was really good. Definitely one of the better recent ones that wasn't a Spider-Man movie, for sure. That was a lot of fun. Are you picking up any football to trade / sell for the National? I'm not specifically targeting it, but if I ran into the right card at the right price, I wouldn't say no to it. If I'm walking the show tomorrow and I see something that catches my eye with the right name attached to it, would I try to trade into it potentially? Sure. But I'm not like going out of my way hunting for it. I'm kind of taking a little bit of a different approach this year of what I talked about today, with just selling some stuff off and just walking in with more just straight cash than trade stuff. But indeed, happy Mother's Day weekend to all the moms out there. What is up, Ziggy? Going to my first National, what's the best way a casual attendee could sell a few good cards while there? I would almost recommend selling before the National, in all honesty. If you are trying to sell to dealers, you are going to get offered probably 70 to 80% comps. So if you're looking to go in there and just cash out, and you just want cash in hand and not deal, let me rephrase this. If you are fine accepting 70% of current comps on a card, then you'll find someone that'll pay you 70% most likely, especially if it's something liquid and desirable. Now, some people might say, why would you sell it for 70% comps when you could just sell it yourself? Well, depending on your situation, eBay is going to eat 15%. So now you're already down to 85%. Okay. So we've already closed the gap. If you use a site like MySlabs, maybe you could save a little bit of percentage there. Then you also have to factor in, if depending on how you're set up, if you have write-offs or not, are you going to get hit? Depending on, I don't know what you're selling, if it's high-end stuff. There's tax implications that go along with that as well. Not that you shouldn't technically claim cash income, but if you're following the rules, you should be. Seek not an hashtag, not an accountant, hashtag this is not accounting or tax advice, but just getting straight cash for it also eases that burden. So there are some advantages to just taking a 70% straight cash offer and having cash in hand. If it's not major stuff, if you're talking about a couple $100 cards, if it's not something that's super liquid, I would almost look to sell it prior to the national and just walk in with an envelope full of money, honestly. Beckett Select has never been formally announced yet. I think it was something, best I can tell from what I could piece together, is that it was something that they wanted to announce at the Mint, and then it kind of got blown out of the water by the grading scale thing, and then they just kind of held off on it. So, what's up, Steven? I assume I will see you tomorrow at the Hartville show. Rosario Dawson, she has a bunch of different autograph stuff. I personally am a fan of Star Wars Stellar. That's mainly what I collect when it comes to Star Wars cards, with a secondary option of Masterworks. That's the card that I actually got in the mail today. I guess I'll show that off now since we're on the topic. I picked up one I've been chasing for a while. This popped up in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. And this particular actress was in 2017, which is the first year of it, which is my favorite design for Stellar. They look fantastic. And then she was in the most recent release, which is my least favorite design, and I really didn't like that card. So I'd been patiently waiting for a 2017 to pop up, and this card rarely pops up, and it popped up for a very good price, and I snagged it, and that is the Felicity Jones Jyn Erso Star Wars Stellar auto from Rogue One. One of my favorite Star Wars movies, full stop. After the original 3, it's Rogue One, and it's not even close besides the animated stuff. I love this movie, and I love this design on this card. So the Star Wars Stellar PC collection continues to grow. What's up, Junk 90s? What's your overall verdict on that ComC grading experience? Did I miss a wrap-up video on that? You did miss a wrap-up video on that. If you search for it, you will see a full video talking about that. I had no complaints, no issues. It went very smooth. I was happy with my grades for the most part. But I would encourage you to just search back for that video. If you search ComC probably in my video history, it'll pop up fairly quickly. What's up, peeps? LCS is no longer buying at 70%. What's up, Dexflow? Dexflow had a really nice pickup today that he posted in the Discord. Sorry, just playing a little catch up on chat. I'm not sure about the Midwest Monster yet, ERB Sports. I'm either going to do the ship show or I'm going to do the Midwest Monster. I will probably not do both. And I am probably leaning more towards ships than the Midwest Monster, personally. The only reason I don't want to do both is because, like I said, if I do ships, that's in a couple weeks. It's like 2 weeks, a week before that show. Then it's the Midwest Monster. And then a couple weeks later, actually, yeah, there's next to Zero Shot. I'll get to that show because literally the next weekend is Heroes Con. I'm traveling to Charlotte. So that's probably not going to happen. Now that I kind of think about that out loud with the calendar. And it would also probably lean me stronger towards going to ships at the end of the month, knowing that I probably won't be able to make the Midwest Monster. I went to the first Midwest Monster. It was fantastic. I don't know how the second one was. I know it didn't have as many air quote headliners attached to that one. Yeah, I'm starting to narrow down my list. The next two ones that I really want are Krennic, Ben Mendelsohn as director Krennic, and specifically, I would like a 2017 for that. Those don't pop up very often at all. 2017 Stellar, just in general, doesn't pop up very often. So I'd like to get my hands on one of those. I'd also like a K2SO as Alan Tudyk, because one, I just love Alan Tudyk. He's absolutely hilarious. I love Firefly. I love him in Firefly. I love him as K2SO. That's another one. There's actually one on eBay right now. I could just grab it if I want to, but it's a little overpriced. Those are the two next ones on my list. And I'm starting to narrow down on the Stellar stuff. I talked about it today, once again, in today's video. I don't know if I'll go after a Hamill or a Carrie Fisher or not. They are super expensive and rarely pop up. So I haven't looked at the checklist. I am not big on the base level top Star Wars product. I don't chase the shiny cards. I very specifically target autos, and I very specifically target Stellar as the one that I go after. So I'm going to wager that the Heat take that one down. Oh, nice. Yeah, some of the top sets get really watered down with random stuff. So you're almost better off just to buy singles than rip, in my opinion. I like a lot of the animated series actors, like and Ashley Eckstein, Stellar on my list as well. I have her autograph on a Masterworks, but I would like it on a Stellar as well. And she has a really nice 2017 Stellar. Once again, 2017 Stellar does not pop up very often. Oh, nice. I don't like getting comic signed. I'm more of a card signed one. There is a Daniel Craig, just saying. Nice. So that was my big pickup this week, was the Jin. That came out of nowhere. That's why I kind of like being in the Facebook groups, because you just kind of never know what's going to pop up. And for these niche sets like this, it really helps to be in some of those smaller groups where a lot of the same people have the cards and they randomly pop up. It'd probably be pretty tough to hit something pretty good out of there. So if you're chasing someone specific, I would just go buy the card rather than the box, personally. What's up, Charles Fuchs? You going to the National, buddy? What's up? You heading to Chicago? What are we doing? I'm gonna. I'll still go ahead and take. If you guys got questions, comments, whatever, throw it in the chat. I'm gonna spin this camera around real quick, and we're gonna start hunting for some cool stuff on this, because, like I said, this is gonna take a while to open. So hang tight for just 1 second. Let me reposition this camera. What do I hope the Cavs do in the offseason? I hope the Cavs get a 3-and-D wing, but that'll be tricky. There's just not many out there, in all honesty. This is not a good free agent class. So we will see what they can pull off. All right, I think we are all situated here. Let me get the trash can situated, because there'll be a lot of packs for this. And there we go. My PSA order that I sent off yesterday got checked in today, or is in the process of getting checked in today. Going to the National, first time on Friday all day. Any advice? Comfortable shoes. I would personally try to stay late. I mean, I don't know like what your situation is if you're staying the night, or if you're just coming in for the day, I would try to catch some of the pop-up trade nights. You never really know where they're going to happen. All right, chat. What's the... I'll probably do more national specific videos as we get closer to. What's the verdict here? What's going to be inside this box? Will it be actual X-Force cards? Will it be Dungeons and Dragons cards? I don't really have much in the way of Otani cards right now. I would like an Otani auto. It's one of the things that I have my eyes peeled for on the National. Are we getting G.I. Joe? Are we getting My Little Pony? What's about to happen here? What is about to happen here? Or will it actually be what it says it is? Will we get another oh no moment? One of the most infamous things to happen in the live stream history. We're good. We are good. There is a million packs in here. I agree, Dexflow. I'm going to feel free to keep firing stuff in the chat. I probably won't pull up the comments on screen just so I could rip, but I'll still definitely be feeling. Look at this. Is great. There's so many of these packs. Oh my goodness. Boomy getting scammed would have been great content. That actually worked out for me all right. I mean, it sucked that I got scammed on that, but if you all remember that night, I still wanted to rip something. So I ended up opening a box of 92 Jim Lee. And out of that box of 92 Jim Lee, I pulled a Wolverine hologram that I sent in for grading, and it got a PSA 10, and I sold that for a rather large sum of money. So I ended up doing okay on that whole ordeal, in all honesty. Look at all these. There's just like a trillion of these things. What's the story with this set? So the reason I am opening this set is because Rob Liefeld is doing a CGC signing, and there are a couple of really nice looking Deadpool cards in this set that would make perfect submission choices for this. So I'm going to move through these very quickly because we are going to see a lot of these cards a lot. The quality control on these is absolutely terrible. These things are like paper thin, no pun intended. The centering is always really rough on these. This domino one's very popular. So we are essentially hunting for, this is one of them actually. We'll talk about that one in a second. I will show that one. Basically just looking for things for the CGC signing. It's a cool looking Archangel. It is a lot of packs. So this is one of them. That would be a very good card to send in for the Rob signing. I'm just going to penny sleeve these as we go for the potentials, and then I'll look them over later in terms of centering and stuff. So that's mostly what we're looking for. There are like 3 or 4, and we will get a ton of duplicates on these. Kind of just a nature of the beast. So like I said, I am going to work through these pretty quickly. These are all pulled. That's always a good one. These are all pulled directly from the comics. So when I say comic images, it's literally images straight out of the comic. I actually don't mind Rob's artwork. I really don't. But I grew up in that era. So I remember like when X-Force 1 came out, it was like a huge deal. I remember buying that book. I remember buying X-Force 2. X-Force 2 is one that I would like to get in a CGC 98. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and kind of go over these individual cards or anything, or we will be here for 3 days. Got a little lean to them on that one. Like I said, these come out in rough shape, but if you are thinking of sending stuff in for the signing, This is a good way to go about it. Friend of the channel, Alonzo Collectibles and Sketch Norin opened a box of these. And I kind of agree with what he was saying. You'll see when we get to the end of this box, you get plenty of duplicates out of here. You and a friend or a couple friends could probably buy one of these boxes and split it and get enough stuff out of here to send in, depending on how much you wanted to send in. Was planning to hold a box of Bowman Hobby, and then it lasted 3 days. Yeah, I never minded Rob's work. I get the whole small feet thing and all that nonsense, but I like the way that he drew X-Force, or drew X-Force. You can see the collation on this is terrible. I mean, this is, I don't even know how many packs this is. I think it's 36 packs, 10 cards per pack, and it's only a 90 card checklist. That's our 4th assassin. Did you hit anything good, Hector, out of your Bowman? I kind of want to, I'm really in the mood, and this is not helping it, or it is helping it rather. I think tonight, after I'm done, I'm just going to go chill and watch the basketball games and just fire up some Marvel Unlimited and just read some 90s X-Men and X-Force stuff. There are no Prism cards in this box like the McFarlane comic images. I think the Lakers win tonight, Charles. I really do. I think the Lakers take it down tonight. Looks like Wiggins is going to try to play, but he is hurt. I feel like we've opened the same pack like 15 times. Who was your auto? Was it someone spicy? I'm excited to get my Spencer Jones auto. I don't know when I'll get it, but I suddenly have a vested interest in a Yankees prospect. I don't know how to feel about that. This was a really good. So Follow the Mutants. This is from this Genosha storyline. That was going on like right as I got into comics. It had just ended. So for this Rob signing, I think you have until the end of July to get cards in. But don't quote me on that. Kind of a cool with the whole team. Yeah, how off-center that is. I'd take Denver in that series, honestly. I don't know if the Lakers can handle the altitude that much. Playing every other day. Man, where are the other? There's like 2 other really good images of Deadpool other than that assassin one. And I cannot pull them to save my life. Those Bowman Spotlight inserts, man, are they nice. I cannot get this pack open. They are really, really nice. I think they're going to be tough grades. I'm curious to see how this submission goes. I'll be honest, I did not look at that stuff over as close as I typically do on that latest PSA submission. That one's kind of cool. I don't remember that commercial. I kind of want to rip some more Bowman blasters. Not gonna lie. I may or may not have been looking at cases of Bowman blasters on David Adams. I didn't realize he doesn't sign him anymore. Why doesn't he sign him anymore? I still need to spend my freaking. That's a good one. I mean, that particular card's not, but the image is good. That one is very off-centered. Which Deadpool junk 90s? My mic's quiet? Anyone else having trouble hearing me? Could be because I'm looking down and my mic's above me. That might be part of it. Ah, there it is. That's the one I was looking for. Maybe you need to turn your volume up, Bush League. Yep, that one. I'm not surprised because the QC on this set is not good. Also, it's probably getting a little bit of nice Mystique. A little bit of heat because of the signing. I don't know. Rest of chat says I'm good, Bush League. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. That's cool. I don't know if that's Liefeld artwork or not. Yeah, man. That's. I mean, I don't want to get like all, morbid or whatnot, but that's part of the reason why I wanted to get that Harrison Ford auto sooner rather than later. He's not getting any younger. There we go. Now we're on a run. Yeah, man, I feel older every freaking day. That's cool. So this is the cover of New Mutants 98. That's a really good one to get signed to. I think that was actually maybe the third one that I was thinking of. There's another one. I really like this one too. I remember this cover. This was from like New Mutants. Actually, no, this was the image. It's from a book, but I remember there was a New Mutants trade paperback that was from Cable's first appearance all the way through New Mutants 100. And I think I still have it. I beat the crap out of that thing. I used to read the hell out of it. This pack is murdered. Look at this. Holy smokes. Yikes. Good thing there was nothing critical in there. Like I said, you get a million of these cards. The good thing is I'll probably be able to sell some of the extras, and they'll probably go for a pretty decent premium because of the signing coming up. Little Strife action. Executioner song, the storyline with Strife in it. That was like one of the first crossover events I remember as a kid. I remember going crazy chasing those down. They came polybagged. It was like 20 some issues. It's a nice feral. If you're in the feral. New Mutants 98 was one of the first big books I bought when I got back into comic collecting early in the pandemic days. I'm really excited for Heroes Con. I got to put a list together of things that I want, or things that I'm looking for. I really liked that show last year. If you're in the Charlotte area, would recommend. I had a really good time down there. It's just comic conventions, Comic Cons are such a different vibe than card shows. And I actually think, man, some of these packs are impossible to open. I feel like the comic market, I'm gonna have a little deeper discussion on this. I'm working on scheduling a guest for next week to come on and chat comics for a while. Another content creator that I'm friends with. Just kind of talk comic market stuff. It feels like, is that corner? Yeah, corner's mangled. It feels like the comic market has hit the floor or is flirting with the floor, whereas modern sports cards still seem like they have a ways to go. So I think it's potentially an interesting time to start buying comics again. I think the original Walking Dead book, like 1, will always be pretty popular. And some of the key first appearance stuff. Because a lot of people are going to have fond memories of that show, even if they didn't stick with it the entire time. Because it was kind of a big deal. I remember when that came out in comics, my buddies were reading it, and I wasn't really into comics then at the time. And I have all the trade paperbacks. I bought the trade paperbacks to play catch up to read, and I read. There he goes, the classic first appearance of Cable cover. I think I stuck with the comic series all the way up until they got to Hilltop. I think it was Hilltop. I don't remember. Shortly after Glenn died, and then I kind of phased out of it, which I think happened to a lot of people on both the show and the comic. They killed off Glenn, and for whatever reason after that, a lot of people were just kind of like, whatever. And I wasn't even the biggest Glenn fan. I thought the TV show was really good the first couple seasons. Then I just kind of got, I don't know, bored with it, or I didn't like the way they did the governor. Flirting with a Dark Seed first appearance. I can't get into DC stuff. I cannot get into DC stuff. Yeah, my wife and I would like set aside Sunday nights for Walking Dead early on. Oh, this one got caught in the crimper. You can definitely tell the collation on these is so bad because you'll go for like, I don't know, 6 or 8 packs in a row, and it's like basically the same group of cards. And then it'll all of a sudden cycle into like a different group of cards for like 6 or 8 packs. Has anyone else noticed that? As I'm just kind of flipping through these. I noticed it with the ones I'm setting aside. Because it's like I went on a big run with that assassin card, then I went on a big run with the Deadpool card. And then I just don't pull any for like ever. Last of Us, so good. So good. What a great TV show. That the Pedro Pascal auto I have back there in the corner, that card is so expensive now. The last sale I saw was on a base, which that's a green out of 20. I think the last one that went was a base out of 40, went for like $3,000 or close to $3,000. And that's one of those ones that they just don't ever pop up. Ah, here we go. Let's get on another Deadpool run. If I pull enough of those, I'd potentially maybe just send a couple in the PSA just to see. I can't imagine. Does anyone know if you have it up? I know someone was on there earlier. I don't remember who. What the PSA pop report is on that card? I can't imagine it's high, especially for high grade. Just knowing how these grade. I mean, these are just like beat the hell in the packs. And then on top of that, the centering is terrible. The Deadpool 60, this one. Card number 60. Someone has PSA pulled up. X-Men 101, Tony. Which isn't very big. I mean, you could get one for, because I don't need a 9.8. 9.8s of that book are ridiculous. They're like $3,000. And even 9.6s are pretty pricey. I'd be perfectly happy with a 9.2 or 9.4. But I'm really picky on that book. I can afford to buy one right now if I want one. If I run across the right copy. The problem is, they notoriously have a bad rap on them. And what I mean by that is it's like, if you're not a comic guy, it's like the centering's off, but it doesn't affect the grade. So you'll see part of the back cover come around to the front. So there's like a white strip down the left side. And it kills the eye appeal for me, specifically on that cover because it's a bright blue cover. And a lot of the ones that come to market are kind of OC like that. So I'm just very picky on. I'd rather have like a 9.0 that has a nice clean wrap versus like a 9.2 or 9.4 that's slightly OC. PSA 10 is pop 2. PSA 9 is pop 24. Whew. Maybe I'll have to send some of these their way. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is the main one. It's actually pretty good centering wise. Back centering's terrible. That's all right. So this is kind of the main card I want to send in for the signing is this one and maybe that other one. This one's got some surface stuff going on it. Okay, these are regular sleeves. So this is the other one. I do like this card as well. This one's OC left or right. Top right corner on this one. Not too bad. I don't know that it's PSA 10, but it's not like decimated. Checking the surface real quick. Centering looks pretty decent on that one. Back corners are a little soft. You're gonna have that on these though. And for the signing, I don't mind as much. You know, if it 9s, I'm fine. Even an 8.5, like I'm sending it in more for the signature than I am to get high grade. This one's got a bunch of surface stuff on it. You know, I was thrilled to get that in a 9.5 just because of the finicky nature of Spider-Man Metal. And then my other one, oh, where'd that run off to? Where'd I put that at? I haven't looked at the census, but I can't imagine there's a lot of these in a 9.5 for the comic images for the 340 cover. I had one of these in a 9 that I sold to a viewer. I gave him a pretty good deal on it. But I have to imagine this would go for a decent amount in a 9.5 just because there's not a ton of them out there. Thanks, Noah. My centering on these Deadpools is pretty good. The surfaces seem to be, I don't know, maybe that's not surface. Maybe that's just part of the image. There's like these white, like obviously on his mask that's supposed to be there. Well, maybe not. I don't know. The CGC labels are fine. I like the CGC case personally. I wouldn't mind a CGC label upgrade potentially, but centering on the back of these are so bad. This one's way off centered. Little OC. The backs on these are so off-centered. Holy smokes. This one's off-centered top to bottom. This particular card would look really good in a CGC blue label. Yeah, that looks really nice on the CGC blue label. Color match. And this one would look, let me sleeve one of these up. Like, because you remember the signing is going to be a yellow label. So, like, that changes card really plays nice off that. These are things you got to think about, people. All about, we're team color match around here. That's way off centered. This is another one that would look really good with that label. I agree with the surface issues on that, Captain Croc. For sure. I'm noticing a lot of like this, like these white marks, where it's almost like, I think the card ink just kind of like rubbed off on the card in front of it. The thing that I like about the CGC stuff is you get the witness signature. So there's like not a more locked down, is this a legitimate signature or not? Like it's no one's opinion. It just is because they literally witnessed it happen. And I like that they date it too. Like I like that you get the, you know, signed by McFarlane on 2/21/23. So these, in my opinion, these are the 3 images that you're hunting for out of this set for this signing. I think this is probably the best card to send in. I think this one's really cool. And then this one's going to have a wide appeal because like I know me personally, I'll send one of these in at least because I have a New Mutants 98 and a CGC 98. So I could take this and pair it up and display the two together. Because I don't like signed comic books. I just don't. I don't know why that is. I just don't like them. I prefer my comics unsigned. And I didn't go through these ones, but these are some other potential, you know, here's some more of the changes ones. I do really like this one. Anything with a Wolverine on the cover. That's kind of a cool one with the whole team. If you're just like an X-Force fan and you wanted a signature, that would be pretty cool to get. Or the New Mutants version. That's a pretty good one. That's the cover of New Mutants 100. So once again, if you wanted to have this sign and pair it up with a New Mutants 100, that would be really cool. That's Cable's first appearance. That would be a good one. If you're a Cable fan, I'm like indifferent on Cable. He's kind of whatevs to me. I like X-Force as a team. I like New Mutants as a team. I was perfectly whatever on Cable. This is more for the Deadpool aspect for me. That's my experience as well, Marvelous. I noticed it on some Captain Croc, just like real quick flipping through them. Not all of them, but definitely some of them. Yeah, like right here. I don't know how well you can see that right there. Right there is a green dot, and right there is a green dot. I noticed it on some of the others too. One right there too. So I will look those over closer later. All right, I'm gonna spin the camera back around and we can just chit chat for a little bit and then we'll kind of wrap things up to watch the second half of this Heat game. Let me stop this camera real quick. Please hold, everybody. Perk, are you heading to Chicago, buddy? Are you going to be coming to the National again? What is my camera doing? Oh no, my lights on. My battery died. Boo. Not on the camera. Blam. There we go. We are back. Back in action. What's my mouse doing? Small technical difficulties here. All right, I think we're good now. Oh yeah, we talked about that already. Indifference on cable is a good way to describe them. I agree. There are some good Wolverine cards in that set. I've actually noticed this stuff already starting to slightly tick back up again. Is he playing yet tonight or no? Do they play later? They play later. But yeah, it did look like he was starting to hit again. I mean, I feel like it's the same thing every year with him, to be honest. I saw J-Rod had a couple hits and a couple RBIs tonight too. We're getting into warmer weather now, so it's kind of expected. Yeah, I'm in the Crown Plaza, I think. I'm in the Crown. Which third to fourth year NBA player is positioned to break out next season? So that would be what? The 2018 class? 2019 class? I mean, the cheat answer is kind of SGA because I think they're going to be in it to actually compete next year. But he kind of already broke out this year. But they're probably going to be going for like an actual legitimate playoff seed this year. I mean, I feel like there's already a lot baked in the Ant's prices is the problem with Ant. Yeah, the Ubers for the clutch move for the Chicago National is stay on site. For sure. Boba Fett's really good too. He gets not a lot of hobby love. Last I looked. The which I'll probably do a whole video on this after this year's national. The Cleveland National next year is going to be interesting because you're going to have to Uber in. There's no on-site hotels at all, period, full stop. There are no on-site hotels. You are not getting a hotel and walking to the show in Cleveland anywhere. It's just not going to happen. They don't exist. And the immediate surrounding area is meh. It's not that it's in a bad area. That's just like low rent airport hotels. So you got to kind of stay like 15, 20 minutes away to be around like restaurants and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I'm excited for Cleveland National because I could drive every day. I don't have to, I get to save like $1,000 on a hotel that I won't need with a Cleveland National, but I will spend it on gas traveling back and forth. Cleveland National for me be about an hour drive one way, give or take. Thank you very much, Feth. I will attempt to keep up the great work. I'm trying to think who's like, I'm going back to this NBA question. Like, who's someone that hasn't popped yet that could pop back? I mean, I'll go with the homer pick. Like, Garland stuff's in the tank right now after the playoffs. I think his silver prisms are down to like $100 or like maybe 125 or something. His stuff's dirt cheap after they got bounced. Who would be a non-homer pick? I'm blanking on like off the top of my head 2018, 2019 class. I'm trying to think who would be like the equivalent of a De'Aaron Fox, someone that everybody liked, and then kind of like the shine came off, and then he kind of comes back again. I don't think Ant Edwards is a good answer for this because he's already super popular. I guess I hate the player, and it's a terrible situation. Like LaMelo would fall into that category, but there's no chance I'm buying a LaMelo Ball card. I hate that dude. Yeah, actually, we got to the same place at the same time. Odd. His problem is the team is absolute garbage, so he has no shot at the playoffs at all. So, am I going to pick up Bowman Inception this week? I don't think so. If I'm going to chase, so I thought about doing a video on this. I think I would rather go after Bowman University if I'm going to chase Victor Wembanyama autos. Because those have the first logo on it. And I don't think the first Bowman thing is going to matter in basketball and football. Excuse me. Like it does for baseball. I think it's kind of apples and oranges. But I think there's an interesting angle to if he ends up being Fanatics exclusive, which we do not know yet, then that's really going to be the only way to get his auto. And a first Bowman auto of his would be the go-to. This is once again assuming that Fanatics has him on an exclusive, which we do not know that. The rumor mill is churning on that one, but it has not been officially stated. That'll be a big deal. So I think there's an interesting angle. And if I did it, I would just buy sealed boxes and keep them. I would not open them. With the theory being is if he comes out hot and everyone's like churning for his stuff and everyone wants his stuff, one, that would be the only autograph you can get of his, or one of the few, because he is an Inception as well. But I'm playing up the angle on the first Bowman side of things. And two, we know that we're not going to get licensed NBA cards for a hot minute because Panini is always delayed. So you're going to get like NBA hoops, like a month into the season, probably. You're not going to get a good product till well into the season starts. So the demand has to go somewhere. And I'd be willing to bet that it would go to the first product. Now, does that hold long term? No, I don't think so. I think his stuff will get trumped once he got real autos. But once again, this goes back to if Fanatics has him signed exclusive, you're not getting real autos for a while, which would then, in my opinion, put the demand back on that first Bowman University card. So I might pick up, this is a very long way to say, I'm probably going to skip Inception, but I will probably just on a spec play grab some boxes of Bowman University when they come up. I don't know when that releases. If someone knows, feel free to drop it in chat. And there may not be a formal release date on it yet. But that's how I'm kind of handling the Kuminga angle. Plus, there's Caitlin Clark autos in there. I know I mentioned this in the video the other day. Like, I wouldn't sleep on that. She's extremely popular. So that would be her first Bowman auto as well. So, circling back to that NBA question, Kuminga, it would depend on if he's still on the Warriors or not, or what happens to the Warriors. I feel like his prices are still kind of high because a lot of people like him as like a toolsy guy. And I agree with Hustle's statement here. LaMelo stuff to me is still overpriced. Ooh, Gavin Lux, ouch. And Lubob, ouch. Bichette is really good. He just doesn't get a lot of hobby love. I don't know that I would sell it all. I think there would be like, I don't know, if I bought 5 boxes, let's say, and I could turn a profit on them in the early part of the season, maybe sell off 3 or 4 of them and just kind of keep one as a just in case. Maybe first Bowman basketball turns into first Bowman baseball. I personally don't think that it will, but let's just say that happened. That would, and Victor lives up to expectations. Like that would be a monster box potentially. From a sealed perspective. Now they might print it to the moon, knowing that Victor's in it, and this is Fanatics' shot to move product that way. So that's always a risk. Anytime you're dealing with ultra modern wax, I'm not betting my house on it or anything crazy like that. When it comes up, if boxes are reasonably priced, will I grab a handful of them? Yeah, sure, probably. But I'm not like taking out a car loan for it. Yeah, base cards. Oh, base card pricing is rough. Jock could be an interesting offseason pickup. He's going to have to come down quite a bit. It's just, honestly, it's really rough speculating on ultra modern, like already slab stuff. Thanks, Perk. Yeah, I'm not going to hit 1,000. Not every video is for everybody. Yeah, and I'm with you, Jeremy. To me, the first Bowman baseball is an apples and oranges comparison. The first Bowman basketball and football, but I do think that there is potentially an interesting angle here for the Victor play because of the hype that's going to be around him. If he is Fanatics exclusive, I think it's a way bigger deal. If he's not Fanatics exclusive, it's still going to be a hot minute before you get cards in an NBA uniform on the market. I mean, we see this now. Prism draft pick parallels will always sell decently well enough before the season starts of a really hyped guy. And then the season starts and their prices fall. So do I think 2012 Prism basketball sets will be like 86 Fleer in the future? Not on the 86 level, no, because there's not a Jordan in that set. I think it'll be an iconic set that people like, but it'll never be on 86's level just because there's not Jordan in there. I mean, the 86 is loaded with a bunch of players, and you have Jordan. 2012, it's a double rookie year set because of the strike or the lockout or whatever, but there's still not like a straight headliner in that set compared to Jordan. It won't be flawless. It'll be Victor Topps Dynasty, baby. I love Sapphire. Everyone loves Sapphire. Sapphire is my favorite top set, and it's not even close. It looks so good. I'm a sucker for blue cracked ice. I really am. What's going on in this basketball game? Ooh, tight. Almost halftime. But yeah, Sapphire, really good product. I have some Topps Chrome update Sapphire boxes and some. What else? I have some Bowman Sapphire from last year. I don't even remember what I bought. It's the problem with wax. You lose track of it. Oh, Sapphire basketball. Oh my goodness. Whew. People were going to go, and football. Sapphire football and basketball. Whenever that comes out, 2020, whatever, 2025, 2024, 2026, whatever it is, people are going to go crazy for Sapphire football. And just Topps Chrome in general. I mean, just straight up Topps Chrome refractors. Whatever that first set of each one's going to be, people will go wild for it. It'll be printed to the moon, but people will go wild for it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I talked about it this morning. If you're going to the national, if you're going to carry, the mistake, the biggest thing that I learned from my first national in Chicago to Atlantic City was you don't need to carry around your full slab case on the show floor. I did that the first year in Chicago and I regretted it like an hour into the first day. Now, luckily, I was staying on site, so it was easy for me to stash the case in the room and then go back and get it for trade night, because you do want your case for trade night. I personally don't think you want it on the show floor. Most dealers aren't going to care about 90% of the cards in your case. So just pull out the 5 or 10 that you actually really want to move and that have liquidity / trade value for a dealer. If it's some random niche thing, it's almost not even worth showing it to a dealer, in my opinion. You know, if it's a Joe Burrow Silver PSA 10, different story. On card auto of trendy quarterback, insert trendy quarterback here. Sure. Any of that other stuff, I would honestly, if it's stuff that you were looking to move off of to use as capital towards another card or cards, just sell it prior to the national. And you have time. It's the middle of May. You have plenty of time. That was part of the purpose of today's video. Was you should be, if you are attending the national, you should be thinking about it now. I know this is something like Ryan Card Collector 2 talks about, and the Card Talk guys talk about like their countdown to the national, and like he'll do his whole like, what did you do today to prepare for the national? And for him, it's a whole different ball of wax. But for just average people like us, it should be like, if you're planning on attending the national, post a card every day from now until 3 weeks out from the national on eBay that you don't want anymore. Whether it's a $5 card or a $5,000 card, if it's something that you don't really want and you would rather have the cash to spend at the national, just once a day, be like, okay, I am posting a card for sale today, and I am freeing up that money to spend at the national. If it's something that you don't want. Now, if it's something liquid, once again, different story. You know, sure, bring some stuff, and you do want some stuff for trade night. The trade nights are more fun than the show floor in a lot of cases, but if you're ultimately looking to get deals done on the show floor, cash is just simpler. You save a ton of time. You know, if I sit down my Zion case and I got or I have a firebox, but whatever, you know, all 50, 60 slabs that I have in there, and they're going through them, and it's just like, oh, no, those ones aren't actually for trade. Oh, I don't really want to move that one or whatever. It's just like a whole thing. Mm-mm. Yeah, Update Sapphire was a good get. Topps Finest would be another popular one. I agree. Sapphire will trump Prism. I just do not, as much like I love the Star Wars stuff. I do not like shiny Star Wars. It's just not for me. If you're selling a lot that big, you won't, it'll be tough to get 70, 75% if you're trying to sell it all as one lot. Why not just consign them, Meme Factory? Just send them to like DC Sports or something. They just have them run it at auction, and whatever they get, you get. I'm seeing your follow up here. It just depends on. I mean, I don't know what they are, but it's going to be really tough to try to sell that as one full lot, in my opinion. It's going to have to go. You're probably going to have to take a bigger haircut on it to move it all together. I would honestly just consign them if you just want them gone. Send them to DC or just auction them yourself on eBay. 200 slabs is a lot to deal with. I get that. I mean, you can reach out to some people, like some of the IG guys that buy collections or whatever, and just say, hey, I have this. It comps out to this. Would you do this? It doesn't hurt to ask. I feel like I missed the wave on the quarterbacks already, to be honest. But no, I don't really have a ton of QBs on my radar at the moment. I wouldn't leave. So it just depends on what you're doing, Tony. When I'm saying leave the cards air quote at home, the cards on the show floor are trickier. You want the cards for trade night though. So if you're planning on being at the show at night and at the trade nights, you're going to want your case. I will bring my full case to trade night. Now I whittle it down. I don't put stuff in there for the national specifically. I only put in there what I actually want to trade. I'm not bringing things just to show off. I'm not lugging that stuff around. So the other stuff I'll leave at home locked up or whatever. I'm only putting the things in there that I actually want to trade. So you do want the case for the trade nights. Don't underestimate the trade nights. You can get a lot done at the trade nights. But on the show floor, last year, what I did, I just had like a regular shoulder bag that I keep my like extra battery. Like I carry to me, the non-negotiables for the national are a couple bottles of water, like some granola bars, an Anchor. I have an Anchor battery pack, a pretty large one. And for me as well, I throw my small camera in there that I'm looking at here, though I don't usually shoot vlog style content. I like having the camera and a microphone on me just in case something pops up. So I have that in there. And then I have a spot in there that I could put like 5 or 10 slabs. And I will put the most dealer friendly slabs in there that I have just in case. And I'll be like, hey, here's these 5 cards. Are you interested in any of them? And then if not, do a straight cash deal. Mm. 2022 Topps update hangers in the wild. Damn. Where they set you back? What's their retail these days at Myers? Is it like 10, 15 bucks? What's your strategy to prevent theft when showing people your cards during trade nights? Keep an eye on them. I mean, it's you have to be aware. You have to be aware. Try not to get distracted, like on a trade with this person, and then someone's over here, like just wanting to talk to you or whatever. When you spin your case around to someone and I'm flipping through someone's case, it's kind of like one eye open. Like I am always trying to keep an eye on them flipping through my cards. I feel like Goff stuff already started to sneak up a little bit. It does sound like it's going to be 2 floors this year. Yeah, the National is 2 shows. There is that's how I think about it. The National is 2 completely different events in the same day. There is the show floor, and then there is the trade night. And they could be pretty different from each other in terms of how you want to approach them. And don't sleep on the trade nights. The trade nights of the National are chef's kiss. They are fantastic. Sorry, just checking a couple messages in the old Discord. So yeah, you want to be prepared for both, in my opinion. So like I said, I would leave the bulk of my inventory. Once again, I'm staying on site, so it takes me 5 minutes to get back to the hotel room. I'm going to leave my card case in the room, most likely, or in the vault in the room or whatever, and throw a couple key slabs in my bag that I want to have with me, go onto the show floor for the day, get off the show floor, grab dinner, go back to my room, chill for 10 minutes, grab my case, and then head off to whatever the next thing is. So was it the dual auto? It was the dual auto. Spoilers for an upcoming video. It arrived at eBay Authenticity today. What's the best day to go to the Chicago National? There's not really panels. If there is, I never really paid attention to them. I personally, excuse me, I like Thursday. And now I don't know if it's going to be the same this year or not. Thursday is typically when Ryan and Jimmy from Kentucky Basketball Cards or Kentucky Roadshow puts on their trade night. It is typically a Thursday night. They have not announced this year's yet, but you get that guaranteed locked on main event trade night of the entire show. So I would go with whatever day they end up selecting for their trade night. I've never gone to the show on a Sunday. I've heard you can get good deals on Sundays. I also like Thursday as well too because the show floor is not as busy. It'll be busy, but it won't be Saturday busy. Saturday at the National is almost annoyingly busy. Thursday will be a slightly lighter crowd. It'll still be packed, but it'll be a slightly lighter crowd, and the cases will be less likely to be picked over. So I prefer to go early, but I get that that might not work for everybody. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. I don't pay too close attention to the lineup stuff. What cards are you looking to try to pick up at the National? It's too soon for me to finalize that list yet. I have some ideas in the back of my head. I will probably sit down and really think about that after Heroes Con. I kind of want to see how much money I end up spending in Charlotte and then kind of reevaluate that situation and come up with a plan of attack for the National. So I probably won't have a finalized list until after then. On its surface, would it be cool to walk out of there with a LeBron auto? Yes. That would involve me not spending a lot of cash between now and then and kind of stockpiling a little bit, which I could do if I want to, but I'm impulsive sometimes. And I have a feeling Heroes Con's going to put a dent in my wallet. How do I go about putting a buy list together for a show? Other than the National, I don't usually walk into a show with targets. I prefer to kind of to steal like a fantasy football term, I kind of let the show come to me, if that makes sense. I more walk around and just try to find things that catch my eye, either from just like an eye appeal perspective or from a price standpoint. So I'm just more or less looking for things that maybe aren't appropriately priced or that I feel are a good value or whatever, versus saying I am only looking for X, Y, and Z card in X, Y, or Z grade. Comic shows really aren't like trade fest. I didn't bring anything with me last year. I brought a backpack. I brought an empty backpack because if I bought slabs, I wanted them to um I wanted something to put slabs in if I bought it. So I brought I have a nice North Face backpack that has like a perfect storage compartment in it for CGC slabs. So I put, there's bottled water containers on each side and a spot for snacks and extra batteries and all that stuff in it. Um, but I brought that to slide stuff in there that I purchased as I walked around. It's the same bag in New York City Comic Con too. But like trading at a comic show are way less than a sports card show. Like there's no trade nights really. Um, so it's like the after hours stuff isn't as intense. But it's to me, Comic Con has a better vibe. PK, do you ever just run out of fun money pile after buying so much PC? You still stick to card money only? I do, PK, but you have to remember I get to cheat. I have an unfair advantage. And that is that YouTube money, content, money that I make from content goes into the fun money pile. This is the content grind. I have always, and I've never been shy about this. I have always compared to, I don't like to dig in dollar boxes. It's just not my thing. I don't have the time, the patience, or the energy for it. To sit there and dig through and find, $10 cards that are selling for $1 and $5 cards that are selling for 50 cents. Me making content, one, I enjoy doing it. And two, I'm not retiring off of it. I can't, this isn't my day job. I have a day job. So any money that I make off content goes into the fun money pile. So my fun money pile is like constantly getting drip fed stuff, essentially, for lack of a better term. It's like on an IV drip where there's always constantly some form of money going in there. Now, a lot of the money that I make from content, I spend on travel because it's, going to the National is not cheap. Going to New York City Comic Con is not cheap. But, after I set a portion of it aside that, if it all went to zero, I still have a stack of cash. I set some of it aside for taxes because one of the hidden things about making content is none of it's taxed. So you have to set money aside because you get a hefty tax bill at the end of the year, depending on how much you make, because taxes are not taken out of it. You just get a 1099 at the end of the year. So any money that I make off YouTube, sponsorships, affiliate, whatever, does not have taxes taken out of it. So you have to account for that. And yeah, you could do write-offs for the travel and everything, and hashtag not accounting advice, but the content grind, so to speak, helps fund the collectible purchases for me, in addition to the grading and selling of singles and flipping and all that other stuff. But that's my cheat code. That is my up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start, select for hobby fun money. Sorry for the long-winded answer on that one. No problem, Jeremy. Yeah, I haven't looked that hard at the autograph lineup. They're just not my thing. I picked up a Reggie Jackson auto last year for a friend of the family, and it was a fine experience. It's just, I hate going to things like the National and waiting in line. Like, I did not, as cool as the Stranger Things stuff was last year, I would have just rather pay a premium for the singles than wait in the line for 3 hours. I didn't drive or travel all the way to Atlantic City to stand in line for 3 hours. I'd rather be walking the show floor and seeing cards and talking to people than just waiting in line. But that's just me. Got back up on chats. The only real high life hero I know is Jeff Wilson. Oh, Victor. Victor. Uh, uh, I mean, I keep everything in QuickBooks. Is how I do everything. Um, but yeah, I use QuickBooks for everything and track everything in there as best as possible. But I can. My stuff is different, like than normal because of the content side of things. Like it kind of changes things around a little bit for stuff. But once again, hashtag not an accountant. But there's some slightly different things that I could do because of the content aspect of it that you probably wouldn't be able to do. So my stuff's slightly different. But generally speaking, I use QuickBooks to track all my purchases and stuff. My QuickBooks ties directly into my PayPal, and I generally speaking use my PayPal account to buy most things, especially card related things. And then I have an Amazon rewards card that I use for all my travel stuff. So hotels, and then you track mileage separately, but you could do all the mileage tracking in QuickBooks. All the payments that I receive from content, I filter all through PayPal, so it automatically logs into QuickBooks, and then I just transfer the money out into my bank account. Reggie's always the dick. Even the show promoters hate dealing with him. Who are you talking about when you say Reggie? Which Reggie? Michael Stone, what's up, buddy? You setting up tomorrow? Are you in the tent or are you in the show? Oh, Reggie Jackson. Sorry, we're going back to Reggie Jackson. My fault. He was perfectly fine in the like 45-second interaction I had with him. Yeah, sorry, I kind of forgot about that already. Short-term memory loss. Yes, I will be at Hartville tomorrow. Yeah, like I said, the 60 seconds that I was standing at the table that he signed the baseball for me was fine. I took a picture of him signing it and texted it to the guy that I was getting it signed for. That was about it. But it was no big deal. Yes, I mean I answered this already, but yes, I will be at Hartville tomorrow. 100%. 100%. I can't even think of someone besides like LeBron that I would want to wait in line for an in-person auto of. I chased autographs a ton when I was a kid at baseball games. I've told this before. My dad and I would go to Indian spring training all the time, like probably from 95 up through the early 2000s. I probably went to spring training probably 5 or 6 different times. And spring training is fantastic for in-person autographs if you're a kid. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. The players are way more accessible. It's way easier to get things signed. At least back then it was. I assume it's the same now, but I could be wrong. And I just used to get tons of signed stuff, programs, baseballs, cards, all sorts of stuff. I would get in-person autos on. I think I have like Omar Vizquel's autograph like 15 different times across various different items because he would always sign a ton. But as an adult, I just don't care as much anymore. I'd rather just buy the auto card than wait in line for it, as sad as that sounds. Ooh, hope the rain stays away tomorrow. I would agree with Emmett Smith being a super nice guy. Last year in Atlantic City, it was like 2:00 in the morning on Saturday night. The wife and I were on the way back to the room from dinner and just hanging out in the lobby BSing. And we hopped in the elevator lobby hotel, going up to our room at the Borgata, and there was Emmett Smith. So me, my wife, and Emmett Smith shared a elevator ride for about 3 minutes. shot to shit for a minute, and he was as nice as could be. I didn't ask for a photo or an autograph or anything. He was beat. He was signing all day, and then he was in the casino all night. Uh, so I just exchanged pleasantries with him, asked him how his day was going. You know, we BS'd very quickly about the show, wished him well, and on to the next thing. But very, very nice gentleman, have to say, for sure. Later, Tony. I've never had any personal interactions with Tyson. Ooh, Kirby Puckett, that would be a good one. How bad were your grades? It would be, it's not that it's not a good idea. It's just so hard to evaluate cards and photos. I need to have the cards in hand. There's so much you can't tell from a photo. Spring training is great, man. If you're a baseball fan, 10 out of 10 would recommend going to spring training at least once. Spring training is so much fun. It's such a relaxed environment. Once again, it used to be. It's been a while since I've been. I would like to get back out there. I may try to go next year. If the Tops Conference is in Arizona again and it coincides with spring training, I may try to swing that in the one trip. Yeah, I haven't seen all of Chasing Cardboard, but I do watch some of their stuff. Very well produced show. Very well produced show. Well, boys and girls, we'll probably wrap up pretty quick here. I'm going to go check out the second half of this Knicks Heat game. If anyone has any last minute questions, feel free to fire them in before we kind of wrap this thing up. This was kind of impromptu. I just wanted that X-Force box came in and I wanted to get it ripped and opened so I can evaluate what I got out of there. And then I want to settle in for Warriors Lakers. I think the Lakers are going to win tonight. I really do. The Wiggins injury kind of worries me a little bit, and the Lakers are home. We'll see what happens. I hate rooting for LeBron in a Lakers jersey. It hurts my soul. But I cannot stand the Warriors and Steph Curry, so go Lakers, I guess. Yeah, I'll be there for sure tomorrow. That's the plan. I got to bring some wax with me and some other stuff. No problem, PK. Oh, yeah. Hey, yes. Yes. That line was terrible. What's up, Pookie? You cheated and you cut way in front of me, and then you tried to pull me up with you, but it was too late. We got separated there for a little while. That was nonsense. Oh my god. I don't know what happened there. I think everyone just kind of cut and just went straight up there. That was miserable. I think that took forever. I remember I just looked up there and all of a sudden you were like the front of the line. Yeah, we hung out for a hot minute in that sea of people. That's why I hope they move the autograph stuff upstairs. New Cavs unis or throwbacks? I'm a sucker for like LeBron's first years with the Cavs jersey. Like the 03, 04 with like the cursive Cleveland across it with like the royal blue or like navy blue tops. And then I'm a sucker for the old school 80s ones. The Price Doherty Cavs with the blue and the orange. Those are my two favorites. The early LeBron unis and then the 80s Cavs. Price Doherty era. Cool. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make the Midwest Monster. Probably Ship Shawana, but probably not the Midwest Monster. Yeah, the 80s, 90s ones were great. Let's see. What do we got for content? No video tomorrow. I didn't record anything for tomorrow. I just did the live stream instead. Sunday, normal Sunday video. And then beyond that, I really don't know. I gotta DM him back, but we will be having a comic book video next week, comic book market talk video. At least I plan on it, with a special guest of the channel. It's someone that has not been on the channel in a formal presence, but has been in live streams. That is a comic book content creator. So if you want to take some guesses, you can. But I reached out to him today and said, "Hey, we haven't chatted for a while. Let's chat comic book market talk." So I think it might be an interesting time to re-enter the comic book market. Oh, and then I have another video that I want to record that I had to do some research on, and I had reached out to the grading company in question to get more information from them, to ask them directly about something, and they responded today. I was waiting for that response to record that video. That'll probably be up on Monday, most likely. I gotta nose around some more stuff on that and then sit down and record it. So, what grading company is best for comics? CGC, and it is not even close. CGC by a mile. Oh, I almost forgot. Next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, I guess now, we'll probably go live again. That will be the 3-year. Next Thursday is 3 years. Channel birthday is next week, Thursday the 18th. If you want a wild trip and you got a couple minutes to kill, go back and watch some of the early videos. I don't think I've ever removed a video from YouTube. I went back and watched the first video again. Whew! Man, oh goodness. One, the lighting is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's interesting to see the cards that I had displayed on the desk, because it was a desktop video. It was me reviewing 40. I'd opened 40 blasters of Mosaic Basketball. That was back when retail hunting was all the rage. That was my very first video. I opened 40 and showed off my hits from it. It was also interesting listening to me talk about like grading LeBron base cards from Mosaic and like the value on the Mosaic inserts back then when that set first came out was stupid. So stupid when you look at what some of that stuff was selling for. Yeah, if you want a fun trip down memory lane, go back and watch that one. Whew. The lighting is the lighting and the cards on the desk were the two biggest things. Like my desk display was like a Luka Optic base PSA 10 was on display on the desk, I think, in that video. And I remember when I recorded that, this is just a funny story. Part of the reason why I didn't open the boxes live is because I tried and it was an absolute disaster. I didn't have a way. So I have an L-shaped desk. Like I have desktop over here and I have desktop over here. And I have 3 monitors. And then my tower sits over here. I did not have a mount for my camera. So I had nowhere to put the camera. And even in that video, the way that I did it was so jank. It was the most jank shit ever. I have my keyboard tray hangs down from the desk. I pulled my keyboard tray all the way out and I set the camera on a desktop tripod and put that on top of a box. So the camera, like if I'm sitting like this, the camera is like right here. And I didn't have the small camera that I have now. I had a Canon Rebel, which is a full-size DSLR. So it takes up a ton of space. And I had all that crap piled in front of me. So I had to like maneuver around that stuff to flip through the cards. And I would knock the camera over. It was a disaster. Oh my goodness. What a freaking disaster it was to record those videos back then. Before I had like actual setup. What a mess. But yeah, if you want to trip down memory lane, go watch some of those. I should go back and rewatch. I didn't rewatch yet the Every once in a while, I go back and rewatch the first weekly sports card market update, which I think I started about a month into the channel. I very quickly pivoted. I've told this story before. I started with opening wax, and then because that's what everyone did. It's like, oh, hey, Pac-Man can do this. He's got 100,000 subscribers. I can open some packs on camera. This is easy. And then you go to do it, and you're like, oh shit, this is hard. This is a pain in the ass. Um, and I also realized, one, this is expensive. How the hell am I going to pay for all this in the middle of the pandemic? So I very quickly pivoted away from wax opening to informational slash hot takes. Yeah, 3 years. That's it. Special guest for Thursday. I have nothing lined up. I really don't. I will probably I'll probably send some DMs out this week and just say, hey, I'm going live for an hour or two. If you're free, go ahead and pop in, and we'll see who pops in. That sucks, Perk. Yeah, SCA is a punk, and he pulled them all down. He didn't leave any of them up there for posterity. Um, what's the best card I ever saw? Off the top of my head, I have to think about that one. I don't really know. I saw some wild stuff with the National. Probably the 52 Mantle in a PSA 10 would probably be the best card I ever saw in person. That was at the National last year. We will end out on this one. Personal grails for my own collection for sports cards. A LeBron auto. I don't really have a specific one. I'll know it when I see it, if that makes sense. And I wouldn't mind a Topps Chrome LeBron refractor at some point in time, even if it was like a PSA 8 or like a BGS 8.5 or a PSA 8.5 or something. Probably those two. It would be LeBron, something LeBron oriented on the sports card side. I'm not like a big vintage guy. I have the Jim Brown rookies, so that kind of covers me there. But all right, I'm gonna go see if the Heat can close out the Knicks here in this fourth quarter and then settle in for Warriors Lakers. I will see some of you fine chat participants at the Hartville Card Show tomorrow. And then we'll be back next week, obviously, with a bunch of content and a live stream Thursday night. Unsure of the exact time yet. We'll see what time I decide to fire that up. Probably start a little bit later, maybe like 8 p.m. or something. So, all right, everybody. We will catch you on the next one. Have a good weekend. Peace. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mom.